What you just witnessed wasn't a sport hunt, it was a battle between us farmers and the destructive wild boars. We've been hunting them for years to protect our crops, but these animals seem nearly impossible to eliminate. They reproduce at an incredible rate, and their population keeps growing year after year. Hunting has become one of the few ways to stop them from destroying our farms. Today, we continue this life or death fight to control this invasive species. We were already at the edge of the field. Fresh droppings and torn up patches of earth had been picked up by the dogs, all signs that a large herd of wild boars had passed through during the night. After more than an hour of tracking, our dogs finally picked up a trail. I rushed through a narrow path, moving quietly to avoid alerting them. When we arrived, we found a massive wild boar surrounded by our pack. And while its size was incredible, now take a guess, how many kilograms do you think that beast weighed? By midday, the sun grew harsher and the air felt like it was burning. We moved to a cornfield that was just entering harvest season. Ripe golden corn often lures wild boars, so they tend to scour these areas for food. Suddenly, one of the boars being chased by our hunting dogs bolted southward. I raised my rifle, adjusted the scope, and squeezed the trigger. The boar took a direct hit. It stumbled, then collapsed. Moments later, it lay completely still. To shoot wild boars with maximum accuracy, we use semi-automatic rifles like the AR-10 or AR-15. These rifles offer high precision and can be easily customized. In Texas, suppressors are legal. They help reduce noise, minimizing disturbance to other wildlife. Paired with a good scope, these setups allow us to take down a wild boar even from 200 meters away. By late afternoon, we moved into a field of lush green grass, once used for grazing livestock, but since the wild boars started appearing, farmers no longer bring their animals here. After about 30 minutes lying in ambush, a herd of wild boars showed up about 300 meters away. They were led by a massive and clever alpha boar. Perhaps sensing danger, the herd took off at full speed. Luis fired. The distance was too far, and he missed. Cody managed to shoot down a boar that got separated from the group. Once it was hit, we approached to inspect its condition. It had been completely taken down. In Texas, wild boars are classified as nuisance animals, which means our control operations are completely legal and unrestricted by season. Landowners are allowed to shoot them on site, and as a result of this hunt, we were able to take down a significant number of wild boars. Since we began patrolling regularly with firearms, we've noticed a clear decline in boar activity. We've also set a goal. By the next harvest season, we hope not a single crop will be damaged. hunting journey across the fields has come to an end. What did you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with our latest content.
I came back to visit my grandmother in the peaceful countryside, just hoping to rest a few days after a long stretch of exhausting work. But that night, chaos erupted. Wild boars had attacked a nearby farm, keeping the entire village up until dawn. I couldn't sleep either. I lay there, wide awake, with my late grandfather's old hunting rifle beside me. And just as the sky began to brighten, I joined the village's hunting crew to track down the culprits who brought such destruction. Our destination was Santa Monica Mountain in California, about 20 minutes away. Once in position, I waited patiently. Suddenly, a short call from a teammate rang out. Targets approaching. There it was, a massive wild boar right in front of me. Immediately, the entire team opened fire. Bullets thundered across the forested hills, but the boar went berserk, speeding up instead of slowing down. It was truly incredible. After all those shots, it skillfully weaved through the trees and vanished into the mist. The chase only ended when Ralph, the team's most seasoned marksman, fired a critical volley. The boar stumbled and crashed into a bush. We thought it was over, but it rose again, refusing to give up. Only Ralph's final bullet, which struck its weak spot, finally brought it down for good, ending a tense, exhausting pursuit in a cloud of dust. It was a hard-fought hunt, but the result was well worth the effort. Our hunting dogs joined the action. In just a few minutes, they had sniffed out another target. A chunky black shape darted into hiding behind some thick bushes, desperately trying to shake off the dogs. We quickly chose our angles. I picked the biggest one and took the shot. The bullet tore through the air and struck a vital point. Success! Our target lay motionless on the ground. Through the binoculars, we spotted another large pack of wild boars on the move. Ralph and I opened fire, but the range was too far. The bullets zipped past harmlessly. The boar seized the chance and bolted up the mountain. We didn't give up and quickly pursued them. Not long after, we heard our dogs barking again, this time more intensely. I crept closer with my rifle ready for anything. Suddenly, a boar lunged from a bush beside me. I immediately pulled the trigger multiple times. The The dogs barked again, louder and more urgent than usual. Ralph and I hurried over, tension building. Sure enough, the dogs had cornered a wild boar. It looked injured and no longer aggressive. Ralph moved in, raised his rifle, and with a single precise shot, the animal was down. Another swift and clean takedown. From the neighboring mountain, the sound of gunfire echoed nonstop. Our teammates were locked in fierce pursuit. One wild boar, after an exhausting chase, was brought down with a sharp, decisive shot. None were given a chance to escape. We had hunters posted all around, determined to eliminate as many as possible. I was assigned to climb to the summit to support Chad, but when I arrived, he'd already found his target, a large adult boar with a scruffy coat. It tried to hide behind a tree, but against the hunter with over a decade of experience, no chance. Chad didn't hesitate. One clean shot was all it took to neutralize the threat. From the mountaintop, I aimed my scope down the slope. A few wild boars were dashing downhill at full speed. This time, I couldn't miss. In a flash, I raised my rifle, locked onto one in the group, and fired. This marked the end of our daytime hunt. We headed back, gearing up for the challenging night hunt ahead. That's a wrap for today's hunting adventure. Thanks for joining us on this thrilling journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Have you ever imagined a wild hog hunt from above, where you hover in the air, watching the animals move on the ground? We recently had the opportunity to experience that unique journey right in our home state of Texas. It was more than just a hunt, it was a thrilling adventure that we will never forget. Our hunting team boarded the helicopter and set off. The group's first destination would be a vast, open plain, so there would be no trees to hide the pigs' movements. One by one, the prey appeared before our eyes. I sat in the helicopter, trying to keep my balance in the shaking conditions, then continuously fired towards the prey. The pigs tried to run as fast as they could. However, they absolutely could not escape the powerful bullets that were being fired. After killing the pigs in the field, we turned to the sparse forest in the distance. The roar of the engine, the spinning propellers tearing through the air, mixed with the first gunshots ringing out in the air. The herd of wild boars ran away in panic, but with smooth coordination and extensive experience, we took down each one accurately. When the smoke cleared, only the dead pigs remained, lying motionless on the desolate ground. This forest seemed to be a safe haven for many wild boars, so when we returned again, we still encountered quite a few. Hearing the sound of the helicopter engine, the pigs immediately separated from the herd and ran away from the forest in panic. Determined not to let any target escape, even the lone ones, we quickly controlled the helicopter to close in and pursue closely. They were running so fast. I had to keep my hand steady, timing each shot. After a few more rounds, the invaders were finally wiped out. Leaving the forest, our helicopter continued to move to a large field. The crops here had just been harvested, leaving bare land, completely devoid of hiding places for wild boars. From above, we easily followed their every move. Not a single step escaped our sight. I adjusted my stance, took a deep breath, locked on my target, and fired. For nearly 10 minutes, I kept shooting. One by one, the wild boars fell to the ground, lying still in the middle of the dry field. Helicopters, accessing difficult areas like swamps is easier than ever. After nearly 10 years of hunting, we knew the enemy's habits very well. The pigs knew that this area was not safe, so they hid in the tall grass, waiting for an opportunity to escape. So we glided low, passing over each tree, our eyes carefully observing it. As expected, the noise of the helicopter engine was unbearable for the pigs. They panicked and rushed out of their shelter, running in all directions, trying to find a way to escape. At that moment, I opened fire. Each shot rang out decisively, without a moment's hesitation. Each shot was accurate, taking down each one of them as they tried to escape. Within just half an hour, more than 30 more wild boars collapsed on the ground, ending their hopeless escape. The whole team focused on aiming and firing continuously. In an instant, gunshots rang out, and then the bodies of fallen wild boars were scattered everywhere. As we were about to end our hunt after a long day of chasing, an unexpected sight came before our eyes. A huge herd of wild boars gathered in the middle of the field. Opportunity is here. I immediately got into position, aimed carefully, and fired. The shots ran out accurately, the bullets hitting the weak points, causing each one to fall on the spot. The gunshots caused the herd to panic and scatter, trying to run away. I continued to fire, each round of bullets whizzing through the air, aimed straight at those who were struggling in despair. This was the perfect ending to an unforgettable day of hunting. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Florida is renowned for its vast swamp ecosystems, teeming with all kinds of wildlife. Among them, the feral hog stands out as a highly invasive species with an explosive reproduction rate. It's estimated that over 500,000 wild hogs are currently roaming the state, causing upwards of $100 million in damage annually to agriculture and the environment. Hunting these animals isn't just a recreational thrill, it's a vital part of controlling the population and protecting Florida's delicate ecosystem. Accompanied by my fellow hunters, I set off for the nearby swampland in a compact but powerful off-road vehicle. As we reached the heart of the swamp, the first signs of wild hog activity became clear. Fresh tracks in the soft earth and a pungent odor still hanging in the air. Without delay, we circled the area, scanning for movement. There, startled by the engine noise, a hog bolted instinctively. Baldrick quickly maneuvered the vehicle to corner the target, giving me the perfect opening. I raised my rifle, took aim, and squeezed the trigger. With a sharp crack of the shot, the hog collapsed right in front of us. There was no time to celebrate. Baldrick spotted a few more hogs making a break for it. He hit the gas, determined not to let them get away. I held my rifle steady, eyes locked on their movement, and fired again. The bullet flew like lightning, striking the hog cleanly and bringing it down swiftly. Continued the pursuit. One of the hogs had been hit earlier but wasn't fully down. I signaled Baldrick to stop the vehicle as I scanned the brush for signs of movement. There it was. I rushed forward, lifted my gun, and delivered the finishing shot. The stubborn hog finally went down for good, swift and clean. Our buggy roared across the open fields, the engine's growl and earlier gunfire having stirred the whole area into chaos. Suddenly, it triggered a chain reaction. One group of hogs after another began pouring out from the thickets. I gripped my rifle tightly, never breaking focus. Any hog that entered my scope didn't stand a chance. It was shot down instantly. The number of hogs hiding in the swamp far exceeded our expectations. Every now and then, one would dash out unexpectedly, But these hogs weren't easy prey. They ran like lightning, weaving through the tall grass and brush. Still, we didn't back down. We stayed on their tail, each shot taken with precision, ensuring a clean, efficient takedown. At this point, we started to worry that our ambush spot had been compromised. The familiar engine sounds likely tipped off the hogs, scattering them quickly. Not wanting to risk losing our chance, the team decided to relocate. Following fresh tracks through thick vegetation, we made our way to an open patch of ground. Then, a strange noise broke the stillness. Faint, but it set off my instincts. Heart pounding, I held my position, exhaled slowly, and fired. The shot hit dead on, dropping the hog instantly. A clean, flawless finish. We kept circling the swamp, taking each step with care to stay as quiet as possible. Suddenly, Baldric and I locked eyes on two dark shapes. They were foraging, unaware of our presence. I waited, holding my breath until they let down their guard. Then I zeroed in on the hog to the left. The gunshot rang out, startling the hog. The other one caught the bullet clean, where it stood. As the sun dipped behind the trees, peace returned to the swamp. Then, just before we called it a day, the final target emerged. A dark shape advanced into view, seemingly unfazed by the barrel aimed its way. It paused just long enough for me to line up the shot. Now, I pulled the trigger. The familiar routine played out, but the result was just as satisfying. The hog fell instantly, taken out by a single, powerful bullet. And with that, the hunt came to an end. Thanks for joining us on this unforgettable journey. If you enjoyed the experience, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. When the first leaves begin to turn gold across the forests of Turkey, hunting season officially kicks off. In the cool, breezy autumn weather, much milder than the sweltering summer, wild boars often gather in groups and head out in search of food. That makes it the perfect time for hunters like us to track them more easily. Now, let's dive straight into a thrilling, intense, and emotionally charged hunting expedition together. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, our team hit the road in our familiar hunting truck, heading toward the forest. The moment we arrived, everyone got into position without hesitation. I focused all my attention on every subtle sound and movement. There it was, the target had emerged. The wild boars sensed danger and bolted, but a well-placed shot from behind to drop one of them just in time. Still in the same ambush position, I was presented with another chance to take the shot. This time, a boar charged head-on toward me. Before it could veer away, I pulled the trigger. The animal had no chance of escaping. The hunting dogs were doing an excellent job. They had locked onto another boar. But at nearly 30 kilometers each, the animal scuttled away and escaped, leaving us frustrated and disappointed. We continued scouting the area, and suddenly, without warning, a new target appeared. I didn't hesitate, immediately got into shooting stance and squeezed the trigger. The first shot missed, and the entire group of boars scattered in panic. A rapid follow-up volley eventually brought one down, motionless on the ground. I headed into the forest tour with a few friends and our pack of hunting dogs. Under pressure from the dogs, the wild boars were forced out of hiding. I was ready. One emerged, then another, and then an entire group came into view. Without letting up, I aimed and kept firing. After a barrage of bullets, a number of them lay lifeless in the dense forest. On the other side of the forest, my friends had also taken position and waited patiently. 5 tense minutes passed in silence, then finally, the prey appeared. But these animals were clever, weaving through the trees to avoid detection. Still, with sharp instincts and skill, Harry swiftly took one down. Less than 5 minutes later, a few more wild boars emerged, catching us off guard. Quick and agile, they zigzagged through the trees. Harry, keeping steady aim, took careful shots. Eventually, one from the group fell in the heart of the wood. I quietly moved deeper into the forest, gun ready in hand, waiting for any suspicious sign. And there it was, my goodness, not just one, but dozens of boars charged in our direction. I didn't hesitate. I quickly raised my rifle, locked onto a lone string, and fired decisively. The boar collapsed instantly. The rest scattered quickly, and gave chase. All of us kept reloading and firing, managing to take down new. The rustling of leaves nearby put me on high alert. Just as I raised my weapon, a wild boar burst out and darted right past me. I fired without hesitation. The first bullet missed, but the second hit its mark, dropping the beast within seconds. forest, always a reliable refuge for wild boars, had once again hidden my next target. After some tracking, I finally spotted one emerging from the edge of the woods. I quickly raised my rifle and fired the moment it charged out. One single, clean, and precise shot was enough to bring it down. And just like that, today's hunt comes to a close. What did you think of this journey? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to catch more adrenaline-filled hunts coming your way.